Oh, what's up, everybody? Just got back to the hotel room here with Pat. Say hi, Pat.
Hey guys, how you doing? Oh man,
Yeah,
don't do that
you
again.
you look how we feel. Oh, anyway, we stopped off and got some Carolina barbecue. It was very good, by the way.
Outstanding barbecue.
Very good. On the way back here, but I apologize. I didn't plan very well with my phone. I've been, flying all night, red eye, and went straight to the stadium. I'll stop by the hotel briefly, but not enough time to really fully charge my phone. And by the time I got into the stadium, my phone was practically dead, so I did not have the ability to post updates and reactions real time like I normally would. It was frustrating because I wanted to so bad, especially when we started coming back. I really thought we were going to get this done. Pat and I both believed it, that we could do it, and they started to, and we were just
2 more minutes.
we were just a couple minutes too short. One play, one mistake too many to overcome. But I said at the stadium, and I think Pete Carroll kind of said the same thing in his press conference from a little bit of the blurb I saw. But this game kind of represented the 2015-2016 season, which is we just started in such a big hole for ourselves that we had to climb such a long way to get back. And in the same way that we climbed out of our 2-4 start to the season and just got into the playoffs, we started 31 points down. One of the biggest deficits, I think, maybe not the biggest, I think the biggest deficit in postseason was 32 points. We were 31 points down and almost pulled it off to the point where you change one play, one field goal, that instead of going for it in 4th and 1 in the end of the second half, take away one pick six, take away one interception,
Take away one drop.
take one away one drop, get one more third down conversion we should have, one long ball to Baldwin or Lockett, all those things that maybe even one more third down stop against the Panthers, and we could have been overtime with a whole different ending, and maybe the greatest comeback in the history of history of the Seahawks and of all time in the NFL, maybe second only to the Bills back in the 80s or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, but we didn't. Fell 7 points short. And yet, as we were sitting there watching all the Panther fans around us, who, by the way, the Panther fans were really cool. We had no problems with any of the people around us. They were actually all pretty funny. What was funny is everybody on practically the entire row behind us, none of the people who were sitting there were season ticket holders. They were all guys who I think were there just for that game.
They saved up to go. Yeah.
Where are the season ticket holders? They all sold out just to make money on the thing. But they were all pretty impressed by the fact that we came down all the way from Seattle to come watch this game, and but they were a lot of fun. They kept us laughing, and they kept of course laughing about the Seahawks not showing up and all this stuff. And slowly, as we kept catching up, one touchdown at a time, you could feel them getting nervous. And the best moment, I think, was when those guys were saying, we were lined up for our punt. And they go, "Oh, you should run a fake punt." And then Pat, he said, "Let's do like they did, like St. Louis did to us." And I was thinking, no, we just kicked the ball. And then they ran the fake thing and got it. And those guys behind us were just so... They're like, "Oh my gosh, they actually did it and it worked," and it felt like we were gonna, like that was gonna be the, one more stepping stone towards our comeback. And I think we didn't actually convert a score on that drive.
I don't think we did.
It came to a screeching. Oh, you know what it was? I think that's the drive where Wilson got sacked.
Yeah. That
really bad sack. Probably the worst sack of the day that he took, when he just kept dancing around and got sacked by I think the cornerback got him for a sack back there. There's another play I'd like to have back. But that was pretty much it. Just one play too short. But I think, the takeaways that we felt proud of, and I think, oddly enough, this loss didn't hurt as bad, probably because of the fact that we were so far behind, that we were telling the guys behind us, the Carolina fans, we kept telling them, I said, well, everyone's pretty much buried us. We're dead and buried. We're in the grave. So we really can't do any worse than what we're doing now. So this is your game to lose. And slowly but surely, of course, we started coming back, and everybody in the stadium was getting pretty nervous. You can feel it. So maybe the fact that we were so far behind, that's not as bad to lose compared to those games that we had where we had the lead and lost it, and it goes back to the Super Bowl. But even our first game against the Panthers at home that we lost, I was more frustrated at that loss, even though this one marks the end of the season. Having a game where we're just crawling back, climbing back, and don't quite make it, that's a lot less frustrating than having the lead and knowing you should win this game and then blowing it and giving it away. So maybe that's why it takes the sting off.
Yeah, but also I think we appreciate how hard they fought in the second half.
Yeah.
How they showed the character of the team.
Yeah.
They never gave up, and they kept pushing and crawling and fighting and trying to grit it out. And Carolina was panicking. Let's.
Yeah, I mean, we for all intents and purposes, we shut them down.
Yeah.
Almost completely. Yeah, they had a few yards, a few nice conversions on third down.
Yeah.
But they scored no points. They went, 21 unanswered points from the entire second half. Statistically, we dominated them. If you look at the end box score, except for the most important category, which is 2 turnovers.
We fell short on 3 things: time of possession, turnovers, and sacks.
Did we lose? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a whole other issue. Did we, in time of possession, in the end, we still lost it?
I thought we did.
I didn't look at it. I haven't.
They had the
I had no
whole
phone.
first
I can't look anything up.
They had the whole first quarter.
They did. I mean, they were kicking our butt in the first quarter statistically, but the second quarter, we leapfrogged them in almost every category. But yeah, the turnover one really, really killed us early. We hadn't even sat down when they got that 70-yard run. We were still trying to get to our seat, and all of a sudden we turn around and they're screaming. There's like, "Hey, what's happening?" So that was a horrible way to walk into the stadium with that, see that play, because we hadn't given up a run like that all season. So it's weird because we had 5 or 6 of our last away games. We'd held the opponents to 1 offensive touchdown in 5, 6 road games, and suddenly we get 31 points in a half. Just weird game.
Yeah.
Not what anybody expected, especially when we're so used to having low-scoring defensive battles that are just kind of back and forth and crashing and crawling. It's just weird, like 2 different games entirely. The first one was the Panthers knocking us out, and the second one was us knocking them out. We were just 7 points shy. But yeah, so on the positive side, it was really cool to see the Seahawks battling, seeing them, never not quitting, making adjustments, and obviously the coaching. We said the coaching. It looked like we were severely outcoached in the first half. Had no answer for their pressure. Just looked totally out of rhythm. The offense, Russell looked flustered, obviously from the way things unfolded from the beginning. But even defensively, we were getting run over. Just they were having their way with us. But then the second half, they made good adjustments, and it was just cool to see the team not give up. Because there's a lot of teams that after 31 points down, they could have just folded, and next thing you know, the second team is coming in and just kind of walking away with it. But they fought to the end, made it interesting, and we're just one magical NFC championship style onside kick away from this whole thing having a different result. I mean, that's how close it came. So we're proud of the fact that they fought hard and did finish the game strong. So that was the positive. I think negatives we talked about was, we knew that part of the key to getting to the Panthers is to get into Cam Newton's head, that big ego that he's got. And we could not get a pass rush going.
Life depended on it today, yeah.
We did get a couple of sacks, but they weren't the kind of sacks that you want where you feel like they did to us, where they're just coming in from around and you just getting nailed. It was kind of, they were weird sacks that we got on Newton, but never the satisfying kind where you just felt like they just knocked his teeth in, So we did, but it was improved in the second half. It would have liked to have seen pressure early on, because I think if we could have gotten to him, I think he would have made a lot more mistakes and maybe would have gotten a turnover here or there. That could have changed the game too. Should have kicked the field goal.
Yeah.
Beck called it. Should have kicked the field goal. And I got to admit, though, I wasn't sure about that. I didn't necessarily not like the call of going for it because, of course, we were down 31. And I'm sure they were feeling it too, like, we need to get more chunks than that. But as it turns out, the field goal was the difference between...
Every point counts.
Yep. Between having to kick the onside kick and going for the game-tying, overtime sending touchdown that would have been that last drive. Instead, we kicked the field goal and tried to get the onside kick and the touchdown, but it didn't work out. So
to the victor goes the spoils.
Yep. Yep.
And we do have a tip for Cam Newton in the next game. Don't be on the field when we're running down our offensive plays.
Yeah, I mean, he was on there being the cheerleader, but he was on the field.
When we're snapping the ball.
Snap of the ball, he was on the field. And that should have been an offside or a 12th man penalty.
Our last 3 offensive plays, he was on the field. So, yeah.
So nobody noticed that. We were watching it because it was right in front of us. And, yeah, I don't know, maybe the NFL will pay attention to that next week. But but that's not what cost us the game.
And also other positives. Curse was just outstanding today.
Oh, man. He had several clutch catches. That last one.
Yep.
I mean, you got to just marvel at, Wilson was doing that whole thing, turning around, doing his Fran Tarkenton thing, and then throws it in the back of the end zone, finds Curse, the very back, leaps up, makes the catch. I mean, that was a spectacular play. That reminded me of like a more elaborate version of the catch, the famous 49er catch back in the 80s of Joe Montana to Dwight Clark.
Yeah.
It felt very much like that, but with more spin action. Yeah. But it's almost the same part of the field and everything. Just extra Russell Wilson fun. So yeah, I mean, but Baldwin picked it up in the second half. So
no, it's good game. The team won and the team lost. I mean, that's just really the bottom line that was there.
Yeah. So, now that we're going to this part, this is the depressing part where now the reality sinks in. You realize the season's over. There's no more next game to prepare for. We get to now hibernate and go into the prepare for the offseason and the draft and all that stuff.
Who we keep, who we lose, who gets signed.
Now this is the hard part where you start realizing, okay, this is where we have to answer some tough questions, or not us, it's the team, but we have to start speculating on what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. More, for all intents and purposes, Marshawn Lynch has played his last game as a Seahawk. It was sad to see him go out with kind of a whimper, more or less, because we never got a chance to get our running game going. So, questions about him, questions about Curse.
Russell
Okung, Cam Chancellor, J.R. Sweezy, Bruce Irvin. Who else? Who are we missing? Michael Bennett. A lot of questions up there that are going to have to be answered in the offseason. So, again, we're going to have changes. A lot of familiar faces are going to be gone, but.
And are the coaches all still going to be here or not next year? So
right. And we debated, so is, are people ready to still run Darrell Bevell out of town? Or has he earned himself another spot, with the C? He hasn't interviewed for head coaching jobs.
They couldn't.
I know because he couldn't, but he was never.
And there's really no left right now, I think.
I know.
So.
That's the problem with getting this far in the playoffs. So I guess for right now, Bevel's the guy, unless for some reason they decide to change it. But I wouldn't say I'm prepared to see him go yet, because we've had some really great success, during the season, and I don't think you can blame the failures on the offensive coordinator either. So
so our hope is more the changes we make and the team that we have will play a little more consistent, and not our inconsistent consistency, but actually more consistent throughout the whole year. Start out strong. I'd actually like to see a game where we actually win the first quarter.
And that brings up one of the points. Pete Carroll loves to say it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Can't win the game in the first, second, or third quarter, but win in the fourth quarter. But
we sure lost.
You have news for you here. You know what? You can lose the game in the first quarter too, especially when you give up 31 points or the first 2 quarters. And just like the season, you start too far behind. So maybe we need to tweak that a little bit, not just save it for the fourth quarter. So there's something to be said about, not waiting to play your best ball at the end, because sometimes it's just not enough.
Yeah, and I also want to give a nice job for the Carolina fans. They really brought a lot of noise today. Nothing close to the clink, but it was pretty noisy, and it was pretty exciting. Good energy.
They had to wait for the stadium announcer to cue everybody. Okay, everybody make some noise.
Yeah, it was actually kind of good. Yeah, they'd say, okay, time to cheer, guys.
But they were loud. They brought it, and why shouldn't they? I mean, they've lost one game all season, If you can't feel pretty good about your team at that point,
When will you?
So, well, congratulations to the Panthers. Not to take away anything from what they did today. Newton made some great, particularly one very good throw to almost like a crazy sidearm pass to Greg
The tight
Olsen
end. Yeah, the tight end.
in the end zone.
That was
we were
lights
giving
out.
props.
Fantastic.
That was really because we had decent coverage on that play. But yeah, they did enough to, their defense made plays. Offensively, they converted enough to, to keep us from roaring back and give themselves enough of a cushion. So they deserve this game. I don't like to give props to Cam Newton and Panthers, but
We'll give them to the
credit,
Panthers. We'll save our props for Cam Newton.
Yeah,
Because they win as a
God,
team and
bugs.
lose as a team too.
Yep. But
Next week it's Arizona against Carolina in Carolina.
yep.
Be very interesting to see how that game turns out.
That's right. Who are you guys rooting for? I don't know if I want to say who I'm rooting for at this point, but let's just say I'm not a Cam fan, and you know it. So it's hard to root for anybody else. We've been spoiled going to the Super Bowl for 2 straight years. It's kind of hard to fall short because it feels odd that other teams
and not fall short the NFC Championship game, but actually 2 games before. So it's a little bit harder to swallow. But
this could have been the greatest comeback.
hey, in some respects, I still thought we could have done it. 2 more minutes, and we're there.
Yeah, I know, but if you don't do it, it doesn't count. But we could have. I mean, it would have been. Can you imagine the tip, and then the Packer comeback, miracle comeback. This would have blown all those away if we could have come back and won this game. Legendary, historical.
I think we're one of the more entertaining teams to watch, and I think we're exciting, and I think we have one hell of a fan base, and I think the community here actually enjoyed the Seahawks fan base. So
Yeah.
they gave us kudos. So very, very nice.
Yep.
Charlotte's been very hospitable.
Yeah. It's a nice city to visit. Great people and nice southern hospitality. But that's it for now. Now I got to go back to reality. It's going to be a drab Monday tomorrow. I got to get to the airport. My flight's at 5:45 in the morning.
So in about 4 hours, he'll be actually going to the airport. So
crazy. He's got to be dropping me off about 4 o'clock in the morning. That means 1 o'clock our time. My clock is all screwed up. Anyway, so gotta get cleaned up and work
Get
our way
2
back.
hours of sleep.
Get a couple hours. Yeah, I didn't sleep much last
all right,
night
so
either.
go Hawks.
Go Hawks. On to next season. Thanks for dealing with this very long video, but I wanted to get out there since
We put 4
this is the
episodes
last
into
one of the season. So yeah, crammed all day's videos into one. All right, thanks for hanging in there all season with me, guys, and I hope you'll continue to watch my videos. I'm not going to be on a hiatus. I'm going to continue to post stuff during the off season. But thanks for all of you guys for sticking with me and watching the videos and all your support. And please, check out the sponsors who've been helping me along the way. Louder Rewards, Hunt's Plumbing and Mechanical, and check out and like their pages because they've been helping me do what I do. So big thanks to those guys. All right, man.
Let's go get them.
Always next season. Never give up, baby.
Never get up. Go Hawks.
We're tired. Go Hawks.